This episode is brought to you by the Denver Art Museum. Mark your calendars for a Halloween version of Untitled Artist Takeover on Friday, October 31st from 6 to 10 p.m. This late-night event features local creatives Mo Graham and Christina Maldonado Badhand, headlining a spooktacular all-ages evening filled with art, performances, and one-of-a-kind activities throughout the museum. Costumes are encouraged, but please leave your masks at home. Reserve your tickets today at denverartmuseum.org. That's denverartmuseum.org. This episode is brought to you by the Arvada Center. Fall under the spell of Disney's worldwide phenomenon reimagined for the stage. Disney's Frozen is a powerful tale of sisterhood, acceptance, and finding the real meaning of true love. Bring the whole family to experience this uplifting winter adventure, playing November 1st through January 4th. Disney's beloved movie featuring Colorado actors and costumes, sets, and theater magic, all created at the Arvada Center. This show is recommended for children ages 4 and up. Get your tickets now at arvadacenter.org. Today is Friday, October 24th. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about. Welcome to CityCast Denver, the show about the city where we made franchise history with Love is Blind Season 9, ending this week with not a single couple getting married. This has never happened in Love is Blind history. So the haters were correct. Denver's season was the worst season anyone has ever seen. Justine, did you watch the weddings?
I haven't watched it yet.
Well, I'm sorry to spoil it for you.
Well, I've already heard all the details. And before, they dropped and people were online quick, worst season ever. And then all the prior seasons who had bad seasons were like, yay, we're not the worst. That was the conversation online.
I don't know about you all are feeling the same way as me, but I have completely lost interest in this show and have checked out entirely.
The thing I enjoy watching more is just the reenactments people do on TikTok and Instagram of it with bad wigs and
Well, that sounds
it's
fun.
way better than the actual show.
It is good.
I am disappointed there's no love story. That was the one thing I said I wanted out of this is a great Denver love story. And I wanted to be able to look to these people
Weren't
and
even
see
close.
them at King Supers and
not even close.
I don't know.
These people were pretty bad.
I do still want to talk to Megan Sparkle a little bit. I think she's the star, right?
She did.
Did we not like her anymore?
She did Jordan pretty dirty.
Ooh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, he cried.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, and she's pregnant, had a
cried into
baby,
his
or she
blender?
had a baby.
Yeah, when did they film this? This is what I was, okay, so
We're
I saw
gonna
this
find
in
out.
The Sun, which is not a reputable news source.
The Colorado Sun was covering this?
No, The Sun, I think
Jesse Paul was on the Love is Blind
tabloid.
beat.
I wish, actually. He probably
Shout
would have
out to
done better
Jesse,
reporting on
a
it.
Brilliant reporter.
I know.
He would have gotten
Put
the
him
truth.
on that.
Yeah.
But what was the timeline? How did she have a baby out of nowhere? I don't know. If I was Jordan, that would have really hurt my feelings. But
They were filming during what was last year's presidential election? What year was it? I don't know.
2024.
okay,
I don't
so
even
there
know
has
what year
been
it is.
time.
Mhm.
There has
So
been time for her to get pregnant.
They filmed during the caucus of that because I saw the filming schedule was March of 24.
Wow, she's been having to hide this that whole time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, she made Jordan cry because he said, I wish I never introduced her to my son. Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah. So anyway, Denver Love is Blind sucks. There you go.
I mean, or it's good. Depends on your perspective. Some of us like the drama.
The drama wasn't even, I don't know. You stopped watching it. That's how bad the drama was.
I tuned out too. I was gung-ho when it first started. I was
Same.
in it. I watched the first drop. I watched the second drop. And then I was like, I'll watch the YouTubers recap it for me.
I think as a TV show, just to critique this as a producer, there is a structural problem where the drama, it doesn't escalate.
Yeah.
The best moment of the whole show is when they see each other for the first time.
True.
That's the climax of the season.
And then it's
in my opinion, not this will they get married or not. That's why is this keep going?
After that, you just have to watch them do regular people stuff for a couple weeks, and nobody wants to watch anybody do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think maybe
It'd be
people.
interesting to see the ratings. So these things are such a black box that we'll never see.
Yeah,
it.
that's true. We'll never see it. Okay. Well, I'm Bree Davies. It's Friday. We're looking back at the big news of the week, from the Denver Post's allegedly bad tenant behavior in a city-owned building to a group of nameless, faceless business owners accusing cyclists of bullying. Also, I just want to say, we know the flock camera contract story is blowing up. It's huge. It's everywhere. And we're working on it. Part of it is we have the mayor coming in soon. We're going to ask him directly about it. But we'd also love to know what you want to know. What do you want us to ask Mayor Mike? Give us a call on the What's Up Mayor Mike hotline, 720-500-5418. And let us know what your question is for the mayor. Again, you can text or leave us a voicemail at 720-500-5418. Okay.
I kind of do think we should talk about it a little bit.
You do want to talk about it a little
just
bit?
a tiny bit, because
So there's the town hall.
There was this town hall last night. I think it had been scheduled for a few weeks because it was leading up to the end of this expiration date for a contract the city has with Flock. And then there was some reporting earlier this week. I saw it in the Denver Post that Mayor Mike Johnston extended this contract just through negotiations with Flock and did not include city council members, which is some of a sticking
lack
point.
Lack of transparency there for sure.
So we'll talk to him about that. But then, because of this reporting, I think the attendance at this town hall last night, and I was so sad to miss it, was apparently like way, way bigger than they expected. They had overflow rooms. More than 1,000 people showed up. I've been hearing from people. People are in our inbox all morning asking questions about Flock. I think this Flock thing is like, it's kind of turning into a defining issue for Mayor Mike Johnston. He
100%.
has been consistently defending it. He says that it's a good system to get crime down. And I think there might be a silent majority of Denverites that agree with him. But this activist group, these people on the left who don't like surveillance, they are growing in numbers and they are emboldened. And the narrative in the media is against the mayor right now, I would say. Justine, what are you seeing?
Yeah. So, I've been following the Flock stuff loosely, but this whole turn in coverage really brought new attention to it for me.
It turned, right?
Yeah. And I saw, and a lot of it I saw was the fact that Mike Johnston was upholding these Flock camera contracts still, and people thought that was suspicious. And I saw people on the internet chatting about, where this money comes from and these contracts and really digging deeper into it. So then I started looking this week into it, and then I got the notice for this people meeting up yesterday in that town hall. And I saw online, I couldn't make it, and I was really surprised. So I think it's getting through to people, and it's something that's raising alarm bells for people that might know some of it, but have not been privy to what is going on with the entire situation.
And hundreds of folks showing up is a big deal. I mean, I don't think that this is just activists by any means. This is everyday folks maybe being more aware of something that, again, was not very clear to the public or city council for that matter to begin with.
Yeah, I think there's a few things going on that have motivated this change.
Yeah, and people are worried about surveillance. You've got the National Guard and ICE going into these different cities. And I think that there's, amongst activist groups, there's been a lot of conversation, anticipation for when that's going to happen in Denver, because Denver is labeled a sanctuary city and has had a target from the Trump administration. So the idea of surveillance and how that's being used and how that might be passed on to other entities,
where that information goes
is starting to scare people right now. And I think that's where a lot of the high alert's coming to from these groups.
My question though is, when is it going to cross over? Because I think there's these lefty people that are worried about this stuff, but then there's also, most Denverites would say public safety is one of my top issues, and I want the mayor to be doing more to make me feel safer. And so when he defends these systems by saying that they provide safety, and he can point to specific crime rates going down, like auto thefts, I think there is a group of people that are like, keep going, more of this, please. Especially when it means we don't have to pay cops. The other thing is the budget. The way this is connected with the budget, like the cost of all these. I mean, this is where we're getting into we should just talk to the mayor about it.
We should just talk about it and talk to the mayor about it. Because I'm also just thinking this is this bigger issue with data, where our data is going. I think it's much bigger than this conversation around policing. But yeah, we should talk to the mayor. I should introduce you guys also.
Oh, yeah.
Producer Paul Crowley is here. Hi, Paul.
Here. Hey, what's up?
And we have a great guest today. She's the state's only Green Chilean politics correspondent. You've heard
maybe
her
the country's
voice.
only.
Maybe. I know. We got to get you a little plaque that says that. Justine Sandoval. Hey.
Hello. It's chili season. I'm so excited.
Is it still chili season? When does chili season end officially?
Paul's going to police your chili
I'm just
season.
saying, I'm
Listen,
fact checking this. I think of it as September.
It is like Mexican food season for me. Once it gets cold October, I made my first batch of pozole already.
Oof.
And then the chilies pilled and in the freezer.
Ready to
and
go.
You make it every weekend all the way until to run out next year. Then chili season starts again.
It's really a year-round experience.
We are in October.
We are.
It's tamale season.
Well, let's talk budget. You just brought up the budget, Paul. So just a quick recap. After a 9-4 vote from City Council, the City of Denver bought the Denver Post building at Colfax and Broadway last January for $88.5 million. And we learned this week that the city's largest tenant in the building, LOL, which is the Denver Post, stopped making its $650,000 a month payments in August. With late fees incurred, DP Media Network, LLC, owes the city roughly $2 million. This is coming in a year when Denver's looking towards a over $200 million budget shortfall already. And so that's where it really intertwines with this conversation about our budget, our city budget, and this choice to buy this building and this situation that the city is in right now. Paul, do you think buying this building was a mistake?
Oh, but I mean, I know a lot of people are saying that and pointing to this and saying that. I personally don't know. I mean, I'm sure the city is going to get their money. I'm sure there's going to be, this is the kind of thing that can go to court. I don't know why the Denver Post is not paying their bills. That was kind of still unanswered in the CBS reporting, and then in the Denver Post's own reporting on their own unpaid bill, which was hilarious. But honestly, to me, that's the whole story here. This is just so funny that this has happened, that the Denver Post is not paying bills for a building with their name on it. And then secondarily, the city is subleasing space from the Denver Post in the building that the city owns. So the city has paid almost $500,000 over the last 2 months to the Denver Post, who is not paying $2 million to the city for this same building.
This has broke
Where
my
is
brain.
this money? I know. It's crazy. It's
it feels
really
a little
funny.
money washy. I don't know. Why is the money going through all these different avenues, or not, I guess, for that matter?
Well, this is one of those things. I guess like this is just a hazard. If you're the city, if you're dealing with taxpayer money and you're getting involved, I mean, it's just real estate in general, I guess. Like for the city, you probably want to own your own building so you don't get involved in all this messy stuff. I mean, I don't know how else you do it.
I was also just thinking about the actual reporters who no longer get to be at the office in the center of the city, and they get shipped out to the printing press to work. This building is directly across from the Capitol. It's wild to me that the Denver Post was still utilizing space in there, but maybe not. And now I guess they're not at all.
I think they haven't been in there in like 7 years.
What?
Well, then why are they paying on it?
Great question.
And why wouldn't they let the reporters just be in there I don't know. Well, they're subleasing it to the
city's
city.
using it. The
True.
city's using it, and the city wants to use it for like the courts and the judicial system. That's what they say they want the space for.
Future space that they need for that. Also, I'm like, why are the courts expanding so much that they need another building?
Yeah, that's another story.
Yeah, I'm like, what part of the courts are expanding? What's going on? All of this is just so confusing. So they bought the building from. Who did they buy the building from?
From the Denver Post.
From the Denver Post.
Yeah. Yes.
Which was selling it because print media was in crisis, right? Not making money. So then they...
Subjective, yeah. Why they were selling,
moment,
maybe.
Right? So there was all these
Whatever
issues
Alden
with the building.
Global Capital wanted to do.
But then to say, okay, well, how much was the mortgage if it was $680,000 a month of rent?
I did the math. $650,000. If they just relied on that money to pay the mortgage, it would take them only 11 years to pay it off if that was the only tenant and if that money was just going there. So that's a very significant chunk of money to me.
Yeah. Especially when we look over at the budget side and we see the mayor and city council fighting over basically, I mean, there was one total in here.
$30,000.
So $575,000 the mayor just put back in the budget after council pushed back for Dottie to set up a parking ticket appeal program.
Yeah.
A new one because they had to cut the old one. So let's just say the Denver Post, pays their bills. We can have parking ticket appeals again.
Yeah,
if they paid them for 1 month. They paid their rent for 1 month. It would cover the parking magistrate's office.
And that's plus the late fees.
Yeah,
that's
true.
what they
$2 million.
Yeah.
Significant.
Significantly. But I was like reading that article and I saw like this small amount of money. And I know, 100,000, 30,000 is not nothing. But I'm like, oh, we are broke.
Oh, yeah. If we're pushing back $30,000 to the Department of Excise and Licenses, that they need that money, and that's part of this. So that's the other thing we're looking at here is earlier this week, the mayor unveiled the final budget proposal, which includes $4 million being put back in to cover these requests from council. That $4 million comes from interest from a one-time COVID relief fund, and of this $4 million, some of that actually goes back to Clerk Lopez's office.
Not as much as he'd like.
800,000.
He's still mad.
Yes, 800,000 of the $2 million he requested. You can go back and we'll put a link to in our show notes of the episode with him explaining his beef over this budget in general. But so we're fighting over piddly amounts here, and the city owns a building that can't get a tenant to pay on it. Justine, we were around for the last recessions and the real busts of Denver of the last 30 or so years. Do you feel like, I just feel like we're getting closer to some not great times.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, I can feel it. I just can feel it at home in my own like savings. I just see it dwindling, the city's savings. And, living in the city and seeing like our daily resources, the parking ticket thing. I know everyone gives me a hard time with the parking, but that was a big impact.
Yeah.
And it was an impact too on like a lot of like elderly people or people don't have transportation to get downtown and like, who are their car is getting tickets because they can't move it because something's wrong. Like so many issues that are going on within the city. And I think everybody's feeling that pressure. And I'm
curious where we're going to be next year. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels kind of dark times ahead.
A little bleak. Paul, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if I feel that same way. I guess I'm a little bit more optimistic, but that's just my disposition generally. I believe the best in people. I guess some of these budget questions are kind of interesting, like what's going in and what's going out. Like the one that caught my eye was City Council asked for more money for STAR, which is the so I forget what that actually stands for, but it's the program that replaces police with mental health clinicians on 911 calls.
And emergency personnel, yeah.
Yeah, and it's been hugely popular. Every mayoral candidate was like, I love STAR back 2 years ago when they were all running. And so, recently I've been calling for more investigation into like how effective this is. Like, is this program as good as we all hope it is? Because it feels good, I think. But now the mayor has decided not to increase that funding that council requested. So I wonder if someone in the mayor's office or maybe the mayor himself is having those same second thoughts or maybe, wanting to look a little bit deeper into the data on that. That one really stuck out to me, the STAR money.
Yeah, I'm looking at just what's going back into it too. And we've got rental assistance, clerk and recorder's office, like you said, Dottie, the parking magistrate, immigration legal services, the auditor's office to launch a wage justice fund, which is interesting that the auditor's about to go look into the mayor himself, state health departments, Denver Food System Summit. So it is interesting how they're making what choices he's made here.
I mean, it's all priorities. Voters should know this when they make their decision, when he's up for re-election, and probably when they make their decision about the Vibrant Denver bond. This has been his big project of the whole year. I think a lot of people are seeing this as a referendum on Mayor Johnston. Do they trust him with the process that he put together this new batch of projects with? I was
going to say, and the projects that ultimately got chosen. Are those what folks were hoping they would see?
Yeah.
I
do want to talk about the one piece for rent and utility assistance, because I had an interesting conversation this week. I've been digging into the new rental data. Rents are down again in third quarter of this year, but the mayor added $2.9 million back into the budget for this, rent and utility. That's for people who are facing eviction. This is the same program that had that stop work order put on these eviction defense providers a few weeks ago. So the $9 million that they were expecting for the end of the year got pushed to next year's budget. So this $2.9 million is going to come on top of that for those people. And so the conversation I had was with Drew Hamrick, the landlord's lobbyist here, very smart guy, good analyst. And he explained to me evictions, they're spiking right now, but he doesn't think it's connected to the recession at all. He's told me that if you look at the data, evictions are actually are a reverse indicator of economic hard times. Evictions go up in good times. Isn't that fascinating?
Do you know why?
I don't know. I don't know
how to parse that. Like, what makes it better or what the environment, the economic environment.
It's worth looking into further, but that's what he said the data shows. I didn't know that.
Interesting.
Because you hear about record evictions, and maybe that's why this money is going back in. Certainly we've been talking about it in the news. Certainly council's reading that the same way we are.
Yeah.
And now that's getting more money, but maybe that's not the problem. Obviously, he would say the problem is this bill that forces landlords to take rental applicants at higher thresholds than they previously would have, basically getting people into leases that they might not be able to pay for in the long term, is leading to more evictions. But that's apart from the data.
Interesting. Well, yeah, there's a lot. If you really dig into this, it's really interesting to look at what council went back and forth with regarding what the mayor ultimately chose. And again, like you said, Paul, connecting it to the Vibrant Denver Bonds priorities and how Denverites are going to vote on that. We still don't know. There isn't any organized opposition to any of these measures, but that doesn't mean that people aren't feeling away. You know,
there's the one guy, Jason Bailey, who's
right.
Against the
I'm
bond.
sorry. That is that there. And to be fair, his campaign has raised even more than the smaller campaign against the National Western Center that did not pass. That was a grassroots organized group that was the only. Was that 2021 when we said no, and that was the only bond measure we did not pass. So could be one of those.
Justine, I want your take on the Vibrant Denver bond race right now. We're 2 weeks out. People are voting right now. Do you think it's going to pass?
I actually have no clue. Nobody has any clear opinions on it to me. Every time I hear the word vibrant now, though, I just think of Mike Johnston and the bond. Vibrant is now a word that I'm not going to use for anything.
Oh, really?
It's their word now. I'm we need it. What's another way?
There's Vibrant. He's got his Vibrant Denver bond. Then there's the Vibrant Littleton group that's pushing for housing density, and then Vibrant Englewood. I think that word is becoming a buzzword for that kind of new urbanism, sort of
vibrant.
I don't more market minded.
Well, and to be fair, the past bonds have been, the Elevate Denver bond, the Rise Denver bond. They have to brand it in some way. Yeah. So,
but it's an interesting one.
Yeah. I'm curious. I'm just curious because these bonds, even when they're broken down into separate measures, they still include a lot of different things that you maybe don't agree with in each of those. And I think it's going to pass all the way through. All of the voter guides I've seen have been pretty supportive of every measure of it.
Yeah, I think it'll pass and I just haven't heard any controversy around it. And usually that's when you know that something's going to have a hard time. When there's no conversation, and Denverites are usually willing to pass things that are going to beautify the city and continue to help our city grow. The most I've heard from people is the tobacco vape ban stuff. That is what people are up in arms about. Yeah. And that's the most conversation I've heard about business and small business and the economic side of that. But I really haven't heard people talking about the bond.
I wonder, I think if the anti-flock activists had connected it to an ask in the bond, I bet they could have had an impact. But I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, especially if you have a couple hundred people showing up at a town hall on a Wednesday night. Definitely. That might make them think differently. Well, we'll be following this as usual because we've got, 2 weeks until Election Day? So there's still time. I haven't voted yet. I got my ballot in the mail, but haven't filled it out yet. I don't know about you guys.
Same.
No, I never do. Day of.
Same.
Yeah, same. I'm the worst. I'm the person that, goes crazy chasing down voters to turn in their ballot, and then I'm the one that but not me.
I'm the guy that answers all the questions about it and then just can't get myself to fill it out till that day. So, all right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more news. This episode is brought to you by Denver Health. Denver Health has a secret, and now you can get in on it too. Denver Health Lean Academy has been guiding our city's healthcare organization for more than 20 years. Lean helps Denver Health provide great care through great systems. Great systems come from listening to the people who do the work and empowering them to make small improvements every day. Lean can teach your teams how to be more efficient, solve problems, and create a culture of continuous improvement. It gives teams the tools and training they need to enjoy a better workday every day. So, whether you're in healthcare, government, business, or even a different industry, trust Lean to work with your teams to improve the way they work. The Denver Health Lean Academy is available to organizations and individuals of all sizes. Transform your workplace today. Visit denverhealth.org/lean or check the link in our show notes.
This episode is brought to you by Denver Film. because movie lovers across the city are getting hyped. It's almost time for Denver's biggest celebration of cinema, and you don't want to miss it. I'm talking red carpets, celebs, Hollywood moguls, exclusive parties and VIP events, and you can be a part of it. Honestly, I've always had a great time at Denver Film Fest. Not only do they bring out so many good movies that you can just show up to basically a random theater on a Tuesday night on a whim and see something interesting, but you also have a chance to dress up nice, go out to a packed screening of one of the year's best, because they always bring the best. The Film Fest returns for its 48th year, running from October 31st to November 9th. They're featuring over 200 of the world's best new films, as well as all kinds of other great events. Choose your adventure and get tickets at denverfilm.org. That's denverfilm.org.
All right, we're back. We're talking bike lane drama, small business drama. This is a really interesting story. The Denver Gazette published an article earlier this week wherein the reporter Mike Samuelson said some business owners are claiming that after they have pushed back on bike lane construction and other bike infrastructure projects, they were bullied and attacked online and in person by what the article calls activists. None of the business owners were named in this story. And I don't know. There's a lot to, I don't even know where to start here. I mean, I thought about in our newsletter this week, our subject line about this was "Are bike bullies terrorizing local businesses?" which immediately struck a chord with many of our listeners that we know are bicycle advocates. And yeah, some of you actually reached out. But Paul, you got in touch with this reporter, Mark Samuelson, who wrote this story.
Yeah, so his name is Mark Samuelson. I talked to him on Tuesday because when I saw the story, I mean, it was very interesting to me. It's from the Denver Gazette. I know a lot of the activist types had pointed out that paper is owned by Phil Anschutz. Me personally, I think it's a great paper. A lot of good reporters work for him. I think that the whole point of journalism is people bring different perspectives to it, and then together we slowly approach the truth together. So, interesting guy. He's been covering bike stuff for a while. I think he brings a perspective that's maybe a little bit more open to like the neighbor concerns, the business concerns, and maybe isn't quite as close with the bike community. But overall, I think, looking back on this and talking to so many people involved, my critique of the article, which I told him directly, is framing. Because his problem, in my opinion, is that the headline was, "As bike deaths spike, business owners face issues with bike activists." And he was trying to grasp for this bigger story about conflict between bike people and bike lanes and business owners and neighbors. And I think that's where he ran into trouble, because he did talk to these business owners who he granted anonymity, which we could talk about later. That's interesting as well. But he put them in the context of this conflict, but then he didn't talk at all about the benefits of bike lanes or the perspective that these other people, or not even just bike people, but more people in general have about bike lanes.
Why the city had been investing in them for the last decade.
There's so many benefits. I mean, there's data that shows it increases ridership. One of the activists showed me this data today. When there's a bike lane in the neighborhood, makes it feel more accessible to a wider range of people. It makes people feel safer. But the fact that he was grasping at that bigger story and then he just ignored all of this other side of it, it made the bike people feel like he was being really unfair. It made it feel like he was painting their whole community with a broad brush from a few people who have done specific things, which he talks about in the article, which are definitely newsworthy and definitely merit reporting. But if that was in the context of an article about business owners facing, or there's a trend of bike activists terrorizing business owners, the way we framed it, if that was just the smaller scope, then the article, I think, is fine. And in fact, I love knowing it because no one else was reporting on these incidents. And it's really important that we know about these things.
Because he didn't talk to any of the big bicycle advocates in Denver.
He did. He talked to the Bicycle Lobby.
He did.
Which is this big umbrella group. It's all volunteers. And there's a quote from the current bike mayor, which is a person, rotating role that they pass from person to person. And he talked to Jill Locantore of Denver Streets Partnership, who he has talked to both of those people. He's sourced from them before in past articles. But he did not find or talk to the perpetrators of these alleged incidents that these business owners talk about. And if you were just doing a story about these incidents, you would talk to those people. You would look for police reports. You would look for evidence to back up the business owners' stories. You wouldn't just take them for what they say, which is what he did.
Yeah.
And this is what I told him. I mean, he knows how I feel.
Well, it was interesting to me because I am a pedestrian, I'm a bike rider, and I'm also a driver in this city. And it all sucks. Like, all of it's bad. I'm raging at all three. And I see that there needs to be a solution that works, that we have to work together. I love a bike lane. I love that they put the bike lanes down like Blake. And so the other day I had to go get my hair done and I couldn't find my car keys. So I was like, I need to jump on a scooter. And so I'm like scooting down Blake. But, you know, all the delivery trucks and stuff are outside blocking the lane. And then it's super narrow. So I have to get in there and people are driving fast. And it like really pissed me off. And so I understand when people are on their commute in that situation that there is like a lot of blockage downtown. It's constant. People are always in the lanes. I feel like there has to be a bigger conversation too about creating infrastructure for these delivery trucks and these services, because
that's not going to change anytime soon.
Exactly.
I mean,
and a lot of these apartments or businesses should have designated spaces built in or some type of loading dock situation.
Because you don't want to build public infrastructure to support a business that might fail in 2 years.
It's something though that we're building more density in these areas. So there's a business downstairs, but there's apartments upstairs, and there's trucks coming in and out. People are ordering packages all day long. It's just part of.
And just thinking about the drivers of these trucks, they're not, as far as I can tell from the folks that I've talked to, they're not trying to do this.
Yeah.
They just don't have anywhere else to park.
They're just trying to do their job.
Yeah, they've got to everybody orders off Amazon. How do you think it gets to you? Someone has to bring it in a truck. So it is like
or it's Uber
question
Eats
of how we
drivers too, you know, that are pulling up to deliver. It's people who are Uber drivers dropping people off that don't have a place to pull over in these areas.
What are these Waymos going to do? Where's the Waymos going to park?
There's going to be Waymos all in the bike lanes. I could see it now.
Oh my God.
But, you know, I'm just saying there needs to be some time conversation. We can't stop it from happening everywhere. It's going to happen. But if we can find areas that we can alleviate people in the bike lane, and people are going to have to just deal with some of the pain of a changing city. I think that's
the biggest part is...
Why?
Why do you impede on my driving space?
I want to fight about it.
Also, I want to go 50 downtown. Why can I not do that? There's a bike lane in my way.
Everyone's so mad about being like, what are they doing at Colfax? Like, just so mad. I'm like, I get it, everyone, but it's good. Like, you want this.
Yeah, it's a hard. We want bike lanes. We got a little car brain here in the city. Sometimes it can be tough. An interesting component of this story, Paul, though, was the Yelp review bombings.
Oh, my favorite thing in the whole world.
An accusation. This happened. You looked into this.
Yeah,
this was part of the story.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Mark Samuelson is he granted these business owners anonymity.
Oh, right. So I guess
we don't know who they are, right? And he said, here are their allegations. He said one of these business owners said someone barged into my business and was shouting about bike lanes. One of these business owners said, I got calls on my personal phone. So I asked him for evidence for these things. He didn't provide it. No security cams, no phone logs. And then the other allegation was review bombing, which is public. Now, I didn't know what businesses were in the article, but I've covered this stuff for the last few years. We pay attention pretty closely, and I know which businesses the bike people are most irritated with. So here are the businesses I looked up on Yelp and Google reviews. STK Steakhouse. This is a place downtown where there is a pretty new bike lane and has been a hot spot for about a year and a half. And the people that own this business do not respond to my emails. They send me the same form paragraph every time. Although I will say the manager, Carly, did talk to me a little bit on the phone yesterday, and she acknowledged that there are incidents sometimes.
I was like, you can just walk down. It's right downtown. Yeah. I park right in a garage next to it.
I told them I might stop by. But anyway, it's one of these places like you're talking about, Justine, where there's delivery trucks, there's a bus lane, there's a bike lane. It's confusing.
Yeah.
It's confusing who has the space.
It's confusing for everyone, to be fair.
But the bike people are mad because... well, there's a few reasons, but I looked at the 1-star reviews and they're quite revealing. So there is no review bombing happening at STK Steakhouse.
This is one you've looked into. Okay.
I looked at the last 2 years of 1-star reviews. There are 3 1-star reviews that mention the bike lane.
Oh.
They're exclusively about the bike lane, in fact. So it seems like one of these people is from Oregon, according to their Yelp profile. So it seems
you see that with review bombing though too.
Yeah.
You know, when someone makes a call online and then everybody goes to pile on.
Yeah, that's like, that one maybe is like a solo
Are there any
review
recent?
bomb. Not real. The one that I thought that jumped out at me was like fairly recent was the person named John E. who said, I witnessed this restaurant's valet drivers assault cyclists who were doing nothing other than riding their bikes. This is a really bad look. And I actually did, when I talked to Alan Cogill, who is part of some of these bike advocacy groups, he actually organized the bike bus on the north side. He said he's also heard about this incident of an assault.
Really?
And I asked to connect me to this person who was the alleged victim, and they don't want to talk about it because they work for the city. So it's kind of a similar situation. No one wants to be the face of this thing, and they didn't file a police report, so I can't verify it. And the STK people didn't say that they knew what I was talking about.
Interesting.
Yeah. I even emailed the company that runs the valet service, Summit Valet, and they just forwarded me to the ownership group of the restaurant who sent me the same paragraph that they always send me. They have a permit to run the valet service in the bike lane.
Oh, in the bike. I mean, that's
during
the core,
certain hours.
That's the core problem then right there is like, if this is being okayed by the city, that makes it harder for cyclists who want to utilize that, what it's intended for the rest of the time.
The other interesting thing about the reviews, and like, we don't have to talk about these the whole time, even though it's my favorite, but the other business I looked at was Heaven Creamery on the 2900 block of Larimer.
Oh, sure.
So this was one of the businesses that the bike people thought was against the car-free block and was maybe driving the return of cars.
When they were trying to keep that street car free post COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at that. Their Yelp page doesn't have any 1-star reviews, so no comments about this.
Okay.
But the Google reviews, there was one. And I saw that it had, someone was angry about the cars coming back, but then there was an edit to the review. It said, please don't take my review down. This is relevant to the business and my experience of the business. And then the owner responded and said, you have been reported to Google and several other reviews about this same kind of issue have been removed already.
Whoa.
Isn't that interesting? The business got them taken down because they seem to be just about bikes. So I don't know what the business owners in Mark's story are really complaining about if they have these mechanisms to protect themselves from review bombing.
I mean, what would solve this is if we could know what those businesses were and see those reviews. But as far as we can tell,
it would help.
They don't exist. So interesting. I don't know. Your point is interesting, Paul, about how the Denver Gazette chose to cover this the way that maybe other outlets have covered bike issues in the past. Did
it stick out to you, Justine? Was this did it feel like a new thing to you?
The tenor to me felt like a Denver Gazette article, personally. But
no, and I have opinions on the Gazette as well.
Please share.
But like I said, I got the same vibe from it, and that's why my take was I'm a pedestrian, all these things in the city. So I feel like there should be if you're going to cover the story like that, you should cover the whole perspective of everything. And also, like, what are the bikers saying? What's going on? Because it's a bigger problem all around. And actually, growing up here, there's always been a lot of bikers on the road. Like, bicycling has been a big thing here. And sharing the road has been a big conversation, like, since the 90s. So it's only, like, increased, and it's become more contentious, I think, now.
I mean, a lot of people move here for this very thing.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place to live. It's
Ride
nice
the Rockies
outside. Yeah, a lot of folks ride year round. I mean, it's a lifestyle for a lot of folks.
I love a bike lane. More bike lanes.
They slow down traffic in my neighborhood. I love one on my street.
It's scary to ride your bike in the street.
Yeah.
I break the rules and go up on the sidewalk all the time when it's too risky.
Oh, absolutely. Hell
I'm
yes.
like, I'm going
I've
to
seen cyclists on Alameda, and I'm like, please I know you're not supposed to ride on the sidewalk and you're doing the right thing, but it's so dangerous.
Yes.
It's so dangerous.
I mean, we didn't talk about this, but this is Mark's other point. He thinks that there's a youth factor. And when he told me that, I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah. When I was in my 20s and I was riding my bike everywhere, I was like, I own the road. I'm going anywhere the hell I want. There's no rules here. That's what I loved about it. It's like, it made me feel like a rebellious spirit.
I still feel that way when I ride my bike.
Well, and a lot of folks would say, but that's great too,
it.
because this is a great way for young folks to get around and not be reliant.
And then when you're feeling that, and like then there's a car that pulls out in front of you in the bike lane,
and you're like, hey, buddy.
come on, man.
That's how I
Big
am
car
still.
getting in my way. This is my bike lane, man.
Yeah, I was trying to get my hair done. I'm like, look at me riding a bike. I just got off the side of the road. And then there's the big truck right there in the way. And
Oh my
nothing but
God.
brunch traffic. And I'm stuck.
Well, as always, we'd love to hear from you. I know many of you have already reached out to us, but give us a call on the Bike Lanes Are Hot hotline 720-500-5418. We're going to take one more break, and when we come back, our wins and fails of the week. It's time to go over to our CityCast Denver neighbor and sponsor of this week's episode, Elizabeth Martinez with Compass Real Estate, for our weekly segment, Navigating Denver Real Estate, to answer all of your Denver housing market questions.
Hey neighbors, I love discussing and continuously learning about our old Denver neighborhoods. One of my very favorites, the Highland, or the North Side, as those of us born and raised in Denver still call it, which both names are accurate, since Highland was its own city before it joined Denver City and Auraria back in 1860 to officially become known as North Denver. So Highland was built on the bluff above downtown, literally to get away from the dust and industry below. In the late 1800s, it was its own thriving little city, full of elegant Victorian homes built by wealthy families, including the residence of Adolph Coors and the famed Lumber Baron Mansion, which still stands today as a bed and breakfast. The Potter Highlands Historic District now preserves those beautiful old homes and tree-lined streets, along with the Scottish village around the beautiful North High School. While just a few blocks east, Lower Highlands starts at Tejon and dips into the lower river valley, has its own modern energy. The streets there run diagonally, matching downtown across the Platte River, and the architecture is newer, for the most part, built around 2010 plus, when the area started popping off with scrapes. This area is creative and fun and full of rooftop patios with skyline views. Together, Highland and Lowhigh blend history, style, and community. The perfect mix of old Denver charm and vibrant Denver lifestyle. This neighborhood is perfect for people that love to be in the action of the city, but also love cutting down their commute to the mountains.
This segment is sponsored by Elizabeth Martinez with Compass Real Estate. Have a question about Denver real estate? Use the link in the show notes to submit it. Elizabeth might answer your question in next week's segment. And we're back. It's time for our wins and fails of the week, Rocky Mountain highs and lows, things that ruled, things that sucked. Start with a low. Paul, what's your low?
Well, the news that broke this morning that I'd like to learn more about it, but the fail for me is the U.S. Attorney Joseph Nocella Jr. and FBI Director Kash Patel announced indictments today on two very separate cases that happen to touch indirectly on the topics of sports and gambling. The first, in my opinion, much more serious, involves Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, who I didn't know until today, who allegedly took himself out of games earlier so his gambling buddies could make their bets. That is a huge problem, and violates the spirit of the sport.
That also.
Very, very Pete Rose. I mean, and also with the rise of sports gambling, I do wonder if these guys, I mean, you look at a college campus, there's kids who are on their phones betting on games, and then the players in the games are next to them in class. You know, these apps are crazy. But then the second case involves Denver's own Chauncey Billups.
See, I told you, Justine's over here crying. I was like, people are going to be sad about this.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's a bummer, but it's a totally different kind of case. And I think they're being lumped together. Like I was reading the AP story and it was going like alternating paragraphs about these two cases. Chauncey Billups, the allegations is he's one of 30 people charged with participating in a mafia-backed poker game rigging operation. Now that's just good old-fashioned crime. That has nothing to do with the spirit of the game.
Yeah, and he
That's
is a coach,
different.
to be fair, in the NBA. This is why I think these are two lumped together, right?
Right.
For folks who maybe
They
don't know.
happen to have the same job. You know, they're different crimes. It sounds like different investigations. And I think Chauncey is getting done dirty. He should be prosecuted for the crimes that he allegedly committed, not the ones that he should not be related to this other thing. That's not fair.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Paul. These are two different stories involved merely by folks that work for the NBA, essentially. And the sports betting story is its own thing. And Chauncey being involved with mafia family poker game rigging?
I was the first thing I saw when I woke up, and I'm like, no, Chauncey, why?
It's no good.
So many of us
It's
GW
bad.
Patriots are so
Not
sad
Park Hill
right now.
Chauncey. No, like he's our hometown.
I know.
hero.
That's
We
what I was
love
saying.
Chauncey. And I was just like, my thought right away was like, I know times are tough. Everyone needs a side hustle.
Yeah, but he
But
makes $2 million.
don't go into the gambling.
He makes $2 million a year. I looked it up.
I was
It's
like,
not
I know.
nothing.
You can always make more.
It's not nothing. Oh,
I mean,
okay.
$2 million is rent.
Yeah.
Now
For Chauncey, where he's living. I wonder how
for
he's
the Denver
living.
Post.
That's true. That's a funny connection.
God.
This is wild, though. I do want to know everything about this. I guess I should hold out judgment on like what's going on here because it's
true.
just
This is the first
indictments,
reporting,
and it's
right.
from real top people like Cash Patel. But I don't know. I just want to know everything. Mafia-backed poker game rigging. That's like
It's crazy.
that's like The Sopranos. That's my favorite stuff.
crazy.
Give me the story.
Okay, I'll go. Do Better Denver had a post earlier this week that said it looks like the Board of Public Health and Environment may have unanimously approved this variance for the Harm Reduction Action Center to move to 1336 Glenarm Place within 100 feet of a child care center, ! This is a prime example of government prioritizing, quote, woke agendas over community safety. Then they go on to say why this is bad because the Denver Athletic Club has a child care center across the street. Here's all the places here's where you can go to complain. Reached out to the Harm Reduction Action Center.
You did.
Yes.
You reached out.
Yes.
To Lisa.
I reached out to my homegirl, Lisa. That deal fell through 5 months ago. So take the L, Do Better Denver. I don't know why you're getting PO'd about something that didn't ever go through. So this was not, you may have been unanimously approved, but that deal fell through almost half a year ago. And you're trying to rile people up online. There's more stuff I know you guys can go after. Maybe take a little break from the Harm Reduction Action Center for a minute because that didn't happen. So just wanted to clear the record there for Do Better Denver.
And it's a good fact check. I know why it happened. Because they have an agenda.
Who?
They're ideological.
Who?
This is the problem with so much quote
with Do
unquote
Better Denver?
journalism today.
Yeah.
When you have an agenda, when you come at a story with a preconceived notion of what's right and what's wrong, you are not going to find the truth. Period.
Why not? It's not necessarily what you're looking for. I mean,
Exactly. You're advancing your agenda. It's
Oh,
about
you
your
mean the all caps within alarm emojis? Alarming news for Denver parents and residents. That's not biased reporting. So yes, citizen journalism. There you go. Justine, what's your fail?
Wow, I had a lot of fails. I was a hard time narrowing it down
tough
this
week.
week. Yeah. Well, of course, Love is Blind, no marriages. That was a fail.
Sad.
But I actually, this came to my attention yesterday, and I know you probably discussed this on the show last week, but Raices and their tax seizure fallout. Yes.
I want to talk about this.
So there was, people have been bummed and shocked about the whole situation. But then it was announced this week that the Hispanic Restaurant Association had contracted with Raices to brew a beer that was going to be sold in their restaurants. That they had already paid for. Well, the beer is now locked inside as part of the seizure. And because of the way the law is set up, they can't access their beer that they've already paid for that is supposed to be used for this fundraiser. So right now, it's just the situation has all of these ripple effects.
Yeah.
And then there was so there's that piece of it. Then there's the other conversation about like how this really unfolded. And I've had some conversations with people. I was looking deeper into the tax situation. And a big chunk of that tax is this sales tax that basically they just held on to. People were paying in. Supporters who were buying were paying the sales tax that they just never turned over to the city. So this business, I think, there was some conversation of this being like a targeted issue by the city, but I think there were some really, really bad decisions made by the owner.
Much more complicated.
Yeah, and I think
then-
it's just sad overall because now we've lost this space that was
such
really
a great
important, not
space.
just to like Mexican and Chicano communities, but other Latinos that get overlooked in Colorado as a space for them to gather. And then now the Hispanic Restaurant Association doesn't have their beer. And
For a fundraiser.
their fundraising
No less.
here. So these ripple down effects, I think, have, just had a lot of impact on the Latino community in the last few weeks. And it's crazy. This was insane, this whole story.
It is crazy. My favorite piece of it was in this the thing about the Hispanic Restaurant Association was I learned that they apparently catered the mayor's some event he did, the State of the State speech recently for free. They did a nice favor for the mayor. And then in the article, John Jaramillo, the head of this association, says, we've done great community benefits. We've given back to the mayor. It would be so nice if we got an exception and we could get this beer back out of receivership that the city's holding on to.
Sir,
and it's like,
you maybe need to say that not in an article.
We've
my
done you
back's
some
itchy.
favors.
I'm scratching your back. Mine's itchy
Yeah,
now.
but text your friend at the mayor's office. Don't tell a reporter that.
We could get a truck in there and just unlock the door for a few minutes and load the
Hey,
beer.
I mean, someone just stole jewels from the Louvre. I think we could get that. Someone could get that beer out of Races.
I mean, if they just put a ladder up to window at the Louvre and
Justine doesn't know.
Hilarious.
She's just saying. Maybe you know a guy. I don't know.
float up the river.
Ugh. Well, maybe they'll get their beer. That does suck.
Maybe.
It's terrible. All right, let's go to our wins. Paul, what's your win?
Okay, so my win stems from the video that I think everyone who is listening has probably seen. We talked about it on Tuesday, but it was a video from the No Kings protest where there was this Giants fan who, a kid stole his glass. He was antagonizing people, and then a kid stole his glasses, and then someone tripped him, and he had his face bloody, and it was very grabby video, hard not to watch. It traveled the entire internet. But I remember when it first was posted, I saw it very early on, and I knew immediately when I saw it, this is going to be all over the world. So I DM'd the photographer, the Instagram account, Drew Kartos is his name. And I said, hey, can we share this video on the podcast? I just know we're going to want to talk about this. People are going to share this. And he said, sure, go ahead. I told him it's going to be everywhere. He said, yeah, we'll see. And then later in the week, he posted, and I think he has the best take on the whole situation, honestly. He wrote, and I want to give him my win. He said, quote, reflection time. I've been thinking a lot about what it means to film someone's worst moment and then watch the whole internet turn it into entertainment, turning an individual into a meme. When I hit record, it just felt like chaos. But when the video blew up, it hit me how complicated it really is. There's this weird moral dilemma in all of it. On one hand, it showed something real, the kind of raw, ugly truth that people don't usually see. On the other, the internet ultimately decides what it becomes. It's hard to know what the right thing is in moments like that. Part of me thinks it started an important conversation. Another part of me wishes it had never happened in the first place. I thought that was the best take on the entire situation, and I just really appreciated Drew posting that. And what a week he must have had watching this happen.
Yeah, I think he's obviously not necessarily being like, oh, I'm out here being a photographer, but I bet a lot of photographers have this thought when after something, especially in the age of, honestly, it's very rare that something goes as viral, I feel like, as this did in this day and age. Like we were talking about this, Paul, it showed up on Diet Prada, like an Instagram account that covers fashion gossip. Like it was literally everywhere. And I can't imagine he thought for a moment that's how it would end up, So it's nice to hear from the person that captured it. This is what I think and feel. So wild stuff. Justine, what's your win?
Well, my win of the week was the Broncos' historic win this
Hell
past
yes,
Sunday.
Justine. Finally, someone wants to talk about this with me.
Yes. Okay. This is classic Broncos game. I'm watching, and then we're like losing. It's terrible. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go work on my plant project in the kitchen, and I'm like,
I'm gonna walk away from this game.
I'm like, it's on in the background. I'm not really listening anymore or anything, and I'm just doing my thing. And my partner walks in. He's like, "Are you watching the game?" I'm like, "What?" So we turn on the game, and it is just going crazy. Fourth quarter. I'm like, "What in the hell just happened?" Amazing. The stadium is going nuts, and my partner, he's new. Like he is. Wants to be in the family, so he's like a Broncos fan now, and he's like into it. He's like, okay, I love this.
This is my story. I relate to this.
So now he's in it. He's like, I love this. I'm
You're
wearing a Broncos sweater that he
right
bought
now.
me. Yeah, he's gearing us up. He bought the dogs Bronco stuff.
Oh my God, I love
I'm
this.
explaining to this man that he's like excited watching it, but I'm like, you do not know what it feels like to be in this stadium right now. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. I'm like, people in there, it is vibrating. They are stomping. It's shaking.
Barrel Man has been channeled.
Oh my God. I was like, I wish I was in there right now. I could feel the energy from my house.
I feel like a lot of folks wish they were in there that had been in there earlier in the game. I feel like, did Kyle Clark make a call out to that?
On this,
That's another thing. But people are crazy that do that, because even when the Broncos are losing, those NFL ticket prices are so expensive. It's not like a Rockies game when you show up whenever. I am there before the game starts. I'm getting my free thing. I'm watching the parachuters come in. After the game's over, I'm getting my pictures by the field. I paid like $200 to be in there. I am not leaving. So those people are crazy. But those people that were in there were just like feeling it. It was amazing. Totally awesome Broncos moment. It was good because it was just like a random Sunday night game. It, down to the second, and the Broncos had this amazing victory. My friend was in there, and she said her and her husband are going to tell their grandkids that they were in there and that they saw
That
it.
is a game you get to tell people I was there.
It was very cool.
So good, but amazing Broncos moment. I just had I've been just so joyous, and every Broncos fan I've ran into this week, like, how about that game? And we can't stop going on and on and on about it. But
they've been fun to watch this year.
It's
been
such a
coming
good
down to the
season.
wire, and like the guys are nice to cheer for. I personally think Bo Nix might be a little bit. He got a little bit high on his own
Overrated
farts over the summer.
Oh yeah,
People were talking him up, and he, maybe didn't show up.
That's hard.
And he's having a sophomore slump, I think. But the rest of the team, I mean, I love these guys.
They're looking
I feel like
good.
Denver really needed this win.
I'm so excited for my partner becoming a Broncos fan this year. I'm like, this is a good year. Because we don't have to be the best, but we're playing some good football, and the games are fun to watch.
It's worth watching.
It's feeling good. I'm enjoying the Broncos this year.
I love it. I love it.
Bree?
Yeah, this news was reported about a week and a half ago, but I just wanted to talk about the Buntport Theater is buying their building at 717 Lipan. Westward reports that the building went up for sale and an angel investor bought it so that Buntport can lease to own it. This is a small theater company that's been in Denver. They're celebrating their 25th year this year. They put in these incredible, really fascinating shows together, and they're just also this really great community connector. And I thought, we don't get to hear a story like this very often, that someone gets to stay. And so Buntport Theater not only gets to stay in their space, it's expanded. So they were renting out about 3,500 square feet of the warehouse they were in. And now they have all 10,000 square feet. They open it up to other theater companies. Also, what I love about them is they have always been a pay what you can. So anyone can go to their shows. And I just thought, what a great story for an arts organization in 2025 in Denver to get to stay in their space and own their own building. So congratulations, Buntport.
That was exciting.
Love you guys.
I've seen a lot of great stuff at the Buntport. If you've never seen a narrator's show, that's one to go to.
Oh, they're so good.
Also, good timing for them, given the way this neighborhood's primed to flip over once this new Broncos stadium gets
right in the
built. I
mix.
mean, they're right there.
Which I think could be great for them, too. I mean, getting folks in the door who maybe never heard of them before.
Put on 10 years of plays, then sell and make bank.
Good for that. I love that. I love this for them. Also, I think what was really cool was they're doing a 5-year capital campaign to raise the money to not only buy the space outright, but to do some remodels and stuff. And $1 million of that goal was already raised before it went public when they just reached out to folks who have supported them before. They came up with $1 million.
Wow.
So clearly folks
Wow.
really understand the importance of Buntport. So congrats, Buntport. You guys are awesome.
Yay.
All right. Well, Justine, Paul, thank you so much for joining me.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, we're back. We have an update.
Yes. After we recorded this, we read some new information about the Chauncey Billups situation, and
Yeah.
it was much more than some mafia poker circuit stuff, huh?
I mean, it was. I don't. I don't want to talk about it. I'm grumpy about it. But the Denver Post reported on the actual contents of the indictment, and they say that that individual, so I'm quoting, which is Chauncey Billups, referred to as co-conspirator 8, allegedly told a bettor that several of the Blazers, the Portland Trail Blazers, best players would be sitting out a March 23rd, 2023 game against the Chicago Bulls in order to increase their odds of getting a better draft pick.
And he's the coach of this team.
So he is the coach, and he was telling someone who was betting about some information about a game that was happening. Doesn't seem like totally, respectful of the spirit of the game.
To say the least.
We'll see how the case goes. There's going to be some kind of trial or something, and this is how the justice system works.
Yes. I'll just say, as a fellow George Washington patriot, we're watching to see what happens to our beloved Chauncey Billups. So we'll be following it.
Yep. See you next time.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. Our producers this week were Paul Caroli, Olivia Jewell-Love, Lizzie Goldsmith, Matthew Rogers, and Selena C.A. Reynolds. Peyton Garcia and Adrian Gonzalez write our morning newsletter, Hey Denver. Abby Madigan runs our social media. I'm Bree Davies, your host. Our music is by Los Mocochetes with additional mixing by Tyler Lindgren. If you haven't already, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at CityCast Denver and tell Chauncey Billups about us next time you see him. And thanks to our new neighbor, Mike M., who just joined our membership program. You can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Denver neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. You can sign up for our daily newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. See you next week.
You're talking about the Newlyweds Game. Yes,
I would
know this.
love to watch my husband fail that miserably and me just ace the shit out of it. That man could not tell you anything I like.
I've seen a lot of videos about that where the guy's like, she doesn't have any allergies. And she's like, I have a life-threatening allergy to nuts. And he's like, oh, we've been married for 15 years. I'm like, oh.
My dad just figured out how to spell my mom's name, I think.
No. How do you spell your mom's name?
Antoinette.
I love that
Antoinette. And
Wow.
then for like a long time, he'd be like Antoinette.
Oh my God.
That's a tricky name.
You know,
I feel
dyslexia,
for
yeah.
him. That's
like
a tricky
my
name.
husband's dyslexic, so maybe your dad's got a little.
Yeah, he's dyslexic too, so I'll give him that. But I mean, come
That's
on.
your wife's name also. Come on.
Make it a song or something.
I love that. That is such a bad husband behavior. Just
But he is very thoughtful. He knows what she like. He like brings her home M&Ms and he goes to the gas station. And then I'm always over. He's rubbing her feet all the time. Yeah, she's like, I'm like, girl, she's always complaining. I'm like, at least
he gets
He's
something.
there, he's rubbing
he
your
gets the
feet.
easy. He gets that stuff right.
That's why fellas listening should be like me and go home every night and study wife facts. Spend an hour, memorize your wife facts, get a new one down every day, surprise her.
yeah, exactly.
Hey, babe, shoe size 11, right?
For the record, Paul's wife, very reasonable person, very
And I know
nice,
all of her
reasonable
facts.
person, very friendly.
I'm easy to
sweet
please.
lady.
I like walk in. I'm like, you dumped all the cardboard boxes that have been here for 5 weeks. Oh my God, I can walk through here and then I'm happy for like a
Wife
whole
fact number 2, she doesn't like boxes.
no boxes. Yeah, get the boxes out.